Hi everyone, it is Monday again, November the 2nd this time, and as you can see I am in Santiago, although it's in lockdown. Um, this lockdown is not similar to the one we had in March and April. This is a bit of a softer lockdown. We are allowed to go to work, kids, my son is going to school, and so people that have a job in Santiago can travel in and out of Santiago with no problem. Actually, the area where the lockdown is in Santiago, it's actually three consejos, three areas that are joined together as one big area, and the confined area is then a combination of those three areas, which is Santiago, Ames, and what's the third one? I forgot. There's another one. Those are the areas that are just around Santiago, where most people that work in Santiago live out there, which means we can travel from many people can travel from their homes and into Santiago and still being inside the confined area. That's what that means. Pilgrim-wise, it means that you could walk inside the affected area out of Santiago towards Finisterre, for example. You can walk almost to Negreira and still be inside that area. And then when you get close to Negreira, you probably will then leave Ames and go into Negreira, which then is outside the confined area. Even so, I think yesterday 51 people got the Compostela, so there's still pilgrims coming. I don't see anyone on the streets, so I'm sure they came and left. So of course, the police is trying to upheld this confinement and checking people leaving and coming into this area of these three consejos, but it's difficult for them too. I think there's controls on most of the streets, the bigger streets, leaving and coming in and coming out of Santiago, and the bigger streets. If you go walking, I'm not sure if there's controls that will control everyone. So I'm sure the pilgrims that walked in and out of Santiago yesterday probably didn't see any police at all. But anyway, I really wouldn't walk now if I was out and about these days. But it seems like people are coming in. Just looking at the pilgrim numbers yesterday, 51. So anyway, other than that, it's Old Town. It's been kind of slow the last few weeks anyway, so I kind of see a similar situation now. It's people that live in Santiago are of course allowed to go outside. They're allowed to go to the store. They're just not allowed to leave this area of the Santiago area. So people are walking the streets. New Town, I drove through there this morning coming in, and it was almost normal, just like it was last week, really. I guess it is just full of people that just live here and just go about their daily lives. So that's about it. I mean, the square is empty. I don't know if you could see it from here. You probably can't see it. The police cars looks like they're having a lunch break, and all the cars are here. This is the local police. And of course, this is the street where the pilgrim's office is located down this way. And as you can see, there's no one here except for locals going back and forth. Now it's lunchtime, so I'm sure people are going back home to eat and then go back to work probably in the afternoon. But just before I came down and recorded this, I saw on the news that Asturias has decided to go to a full lockdown as we had in March. I didn't read the full news story, but from what I can see, it looks like it is a full lockdown as we had in March. You're not allowed to leave your house if you have unless you have a really good reason to do so. And of course, that's the next step that might happen here as well, if the numbers are not getting better. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen. If you would have asked me about a month ago, do you think it will go back to a full lockdown as we had in March? I would say no, I don't think so. Now, maybe. We may end up in the situation and decide, like Asturias just did, that also in Galicia, although the numbers are not we're not as bad as some places in Spain, but it's not great. So I wouldn't be surprised now if in the next few weeks, Galicia as well, and other places in Spain go to the next level, which means going to a full lockdown as we had in March. Maybe allowing people to go to work, the ones that cannot work from home. But of course, if there's no customers, if you're in a service business, if there's no customers, your store's probably going to be closed anyway. So yeah, it looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better. So we'll just have to be patient, stay at home. I went into Santiago today to work, to drive my son to school, and now I'm going to do some little bit more work in the office and then pick him up and go back home again. So that's what it is these days. Anyway, hope things are good where you are. Stay safe.